Introducing Instagram teen accounts. A new way to keep your teen safer as they grow. Like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, sweetie pie, buckle up. Good job.
Or ring the bell on their bike.
Okay, kid, give it a try. Nice.
Or remember their elbow pads.
Knees too, okay? Yep. There you go.
New Instagram teen accounts. Automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Joe? Yeah. Kick it off, Taylor.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1093, June 8, 2023.
Wait. 1,093.
Yeah.
The get-in price of a Taylor Swift concert.
Wow, pretty darn close, huh? That might be even a little low.
102 degrees.
What is that times 9? That's almost about 11 grand, isn't it?
Less than 15.
102 degrees on this day in 1985. And
How
I
much
remember
does a MG midget cost?
I remember that day because we either canceled or had a Little League game. I can't remember which. We either played in the heat or we didn't. I think we played. Why don't you leave now?
I'm sorry.
Well, we're all going to have to leave.
36 degrees on this day in 1885. I'm going to go swimming and I'm going to drown myself.
Joe, do you want to borrow some money?
But at least there won't be any weeds around.
Well, because why?
Because I'll go swimming where the swimming area has been kept free of weeds and junk from Aquaside.
Smart.
Products made right there in White Bear Lake, quick to use, easy to use. And they're registered with the EPA and DNR. These products are safe. I've seen them work. I've used them myself. It's fantastic. There's no need to let weeds overtake your lake or pond this summer. Call Aquaside today. They'll help you identify your weed problem and make sure your place looks great all summer long. Call Aquaside at 1-800-328-9350 or go to aquaside.com.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king,
You have to tell the
fireworks
audience.
commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Sushiro.
You have to.
Tell them what?
Why we're having so much fun at your expense.
Come clean,
We
Joe.
have to. We have to.
Full
The
disclosure.
minute we knew that Taylor Swift was coming to town, whenever that was, when did we learn that? 6 months ago?
It was, I believe, right after the
yeah.
Super Bowl? I can't remember.
Oh, no, whatever. I said, I think you girls should go.
Yeah.
And it turns out there's 9.
Okay.
9 of them.
A lot of kids, Catholics.
Coming from out of town. And I got a guy. And he said, yeah, I got you covered. Don't worry about it.
Hey.
Meet the fellas.
And now I'm if the phone rings today, I have to answer it during the show. I'm having a hard time reaching him. And what the fellas are telling me is that
The old get-in price is awfully
it's
steep.
going to cost me more than I'm willing to pay, which sets up the predicament.
More than you're worth.
More than I'm worth. So it sets up the predicament of having to tell these people that, you know, never mind.
Hey, my bad.
Yeah.
We're not going because I wasn't going to go.
I'll buy the DVD of her concert and you can all watch it at my house.
Because this is ridiculous. The get-in price right now is $1,200.
The town
I'm
council,
not doing that.
The
That's-
town council, Joe, was aware of your situation, and they have decided to write in liners. This one's from Brian.
Yeah.
He's too thrifty to be a Swiftie. That is brilliant, Brian.
Joe, can I ask a question? May I?
Sure.
Why didn't you then, when you heard about the announcement, plan to buy tickets on the day they went on sale for just their normal price? You could have bought 9 tickets.
I wouldn't have.
Wasn't there
I don't know.
Wasn't there a big crash, John? I seem to remember Ticketmaster going down or something.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, and Congress got involved, didn't they?
I think
I have
you're
a
right.
friend who's highly involved in the secondary market, and he's the one taking care of it. But if he calls me and says, "Look, I got them, but it's going to cost you $18,000," they're not going. I'm sorry.
That's 18 grand. That's 2 of those cruddy little British cars you buy.
I'd have to sell a car for this.
So
I'm
you'd
not
have to
selling
sell
a car.
either 2 cruddy British cars or a real car.
And we said this for the town council,
No one's worth that much.
but it bears repeating for the vast audience. If you do, please capture this on video when you notify the CP of the transaction not going to be taking place for us, please. That ought to go well.
I don't think she really
That
has
would go what we would call viral.
Yes.
She really doesn't have a handle on what's happening, because she called me before the show and said, "Tell them you don't want the tickets on the floor because they're too expensive."
There you go.
I said, "Are you?" Well, she has no idea how this works, and
And you being an expert, I mean, you're the expert here. That's the weird part. You're the expert. You're the voice of reason here. And you don't know SHIP.
Well, I'm sorry, girls, this is not going to happen.
Oh, he's practicing now.
What is your favorite Taylor Swift song?
I wouldn't know a Taylor Swift song. I want to before I forget, thank you, Brent Florine. He sent me a really neat book on the history of ocean liners by country. And it's
cool.
really neat, and I will read it.
That's a belly jiggler, huh?
Well, I don't intend it to be. That's not why he sent it to me, but thank you, Brent.
I see you having much more extended reading time in the next couple of weeks.
When you're living in a Motel 6.
When you're in the garage and you're locked out like Fred
Here's the
Flintstone.
Titanic. It sank. Here's its sister ship, the Lithuania or whatever the hell it was.
Do you want me to find a cheaper city to send this group of 9 to?
It would be cheaper to fly them around to do this thing. God, help me.
Because U.S. Bank is enclosed. You could send them to maybe like Gillette Stadium. That's open. You could just hover them over the top. That might be cheaper.
Get a drone?
Yeah.
We have learned that there is a young fellow at Chaska High School. He's in the class of 2024. His name is Eli Frost. And if he has his way, and it sounds like he's succeeding in that, gaining signatures on a petition, he is insisting that Chaska and Chanhassen high schools do not have their graduation ceremony at Grace Church in Eden Prairie. In late May, Frost, a Chaska High sophomore. Well, how could he be a sophomore? This is 2023. Next year, I guess he doesn't care if he graduates next year. He's beating the drum that the senior class next year doesn't graduate from Grace Church because, of course, that bothers him. And he, not being terribly intelligent yet, being so young, he believes that conflates a church and state issue. It does not, and he doesn't understand that, but he probably has parents who also don't understand it.
So they're not being forced to worship while they're in this large church.
Well, I have a couple of points about this. Let me turn to the Jump. It made the front page of the Star Tribune, and
it's their most viewed story right now on their website.
He objects because the church opposes divorce. And he objects because the church leaders have espoused anti-LGBTQ views. I don't know that they do. The church denies that. I know I and many other people didn't want to be held at a church, period, Frost said. Troy Dobbs, senior pastor, declined an interview, but in a statement said that although Grace Church does affirm the teaching of the Bible regarding gender, marriage, and divorce, it does not discriminate against anyone. We welcome everyone. All right. Now, this is a big school, right?
Yes.
Chaska, Chanhassen is 9. Does that sound right?
Yes.
9,003
Yes.
total, and 9,300 students. So they have big senior classes.
And up until I believe it was 2010 was the first year of Chanhassen High School, and they used to be combined.
Well, and they've been holding their graduation ceremonies at Grace Church in Eden Prairie for 10 years.
Right.
Because it's close, it's convenient.
And it's a massive production because of their graduating class sizes.
So I looked it up. I went online and looked at Grace Church.
Okay.
I believe would it be accurate to call it Pentecostal?
Yes.
And I don't even think is there a conventional crucifix on the altar area?
The last time I attended Mass there was a few years ago, and I don't remember seeing
In other
one.
words, it doesn't look like what your mind's eye might picture a church to look at.
Right.
It's a 7,000-seat auditorium.
It's an auditorium.
Air-conditioned, comfortable, so much room you can invite Aunt Millie from Omaha to come up here and watch kids graduate.
Probably no kneelers.
To the point where they have numerous events throughout the year, large-scale events throughout the year.
Well, and this kid, he's raising. They really learn in the failed academy how to address their grievances, don't they?
Sure do.
I'm not sure what else they're learning, but they're really clever at addressing their grievances. But I went online and I looked at this facility. It's extraordinary.
Yep.
I had no idea. It's lovely. It's huge.
It's very popular.
You can get the whole family in there, as opposed to, I think when I went to the Cretin-Durham Hall graduation a week ago last night, I believe that only a certain number of family members could go.
You had an allotment of
You
6.
had an allotment of 6.
The bigger issue with that place is Sunday masses is trying to get out of the parking lot.
Well, you say a mass.
Yeah, I
Well,
caught
you
that
don't-
too.
I'm sorry.
I caught that too. Like
They
it's not
don't
a mass.
hold mass.
You know what I'm saying?
The
a
service.
service.
The
I'm
service.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
The service. It's air conditioned.
upbringing.
It already broadcasts its services, so the auditorium is set up to easily live stream for friends and family who can't make it. It's it's centralized. It's 15 minutes from both the district's high schools. The whole Eastern Carver County District can celebrate together with graduation on the same day, back to back. It's a no-brainer. Hold it there. It's just gorgeous. Anyway, this kid'll probably continue to stomp his feet and make his point. And they probably won't be able to have it there because he's already got 400 names on the petition. Because
boycott and ban. That's how they do it, Joe.
as
Boycott
I say,
and ban.
these young people, what they really learn in the failed academy is to capitalize on their grievances. And he's well on his way to learning how to do that very well. And so that's a shame. It's a shame that venue's bigger than the football stadiums that those schools have.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, where if they don't have it there, where are they going to have it?
I'm trying to think of the area. I mean, each school I know has a decent auditorium, but not nearly the size of this.
It's just
Sounds like
7,000.
a lot of schools use, is it called Maturi Pavilion on the U of M campus?
Yeah, I suppose they could.
But the school district, sorry, Kenny, the school district, if they cave to this one kid because of all the attention that it's getting, just think of the precedent that's going to be set. Do you know what I'm saying? Fine, Eli, guess what? You are completely allowed to have your opinion, then don't come to graduation.
There you go. That's the answer. If he is successful, he's going to save that school district a lot of money. $28,000 to use the church, $11,250 to rent the auditorium, and about $16,400 actually for traffic control and security video production and language translation.
Right,
Wow.
I noticed that. But where are they going to hold it that it would be free?
Yeah, call it off.
This is a time when the world needs somebody to say, go bleep yourself.
Yeah, there's not enough people, especially to kids. You're a stupid kid. Shut your mouth.
Shut the hell up. Don't go to graduation, you creep.
Maybe they could have it at U.S. Bank Stadium. You could buy 9 tickets for it.
Because you're a rotten little brat. You're going to screw up everybody's graduation and their memories forever and ever.
Well,
one kid.
He's just a kid, so we can't call him a rotten little brat. And I already called him a creep. I'll take that back. We don't deal with children on this show, but the point is, this is a child who essentially is going to end up dictating to the school his grievance, and the school, I guarantee you, they'll cave. They won't go there.
I tend to agree that, but God, I really hope that they don't.
It's the Thunberg effect.
Yeah. That's just amazing to me. Once I looked it up and saw it, I thought less of the child for being this precocious and this ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
So, Chris, Jesus isn't hanging on a cross at the front of the auditorium behind a pulpit?
No. That's a shame. That's a hell of a venue. My word.
Because Jess and I used to live 2 miles from that place. And like I said, we attended service.
Is that one of those newfangled churches where you can show up wearing a KISS T-shirt?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of that. Put on a suit and tie.
What was a good Catholic like you going there for?
At the time, my wife had...
between religions?
No, she was, though. It was before we got married.
I see.
Yeah.
Are your kids baptized?
Yes.
In the Holy Roman Church?
Yes.
Is your wife converted?
Yes.
Oh, well. But they won't catch you in that grace church.
Well,
No.
I'll alert my church and they'll pray for your entire family, Reavers.
Okay, thank you.
Well, whatever. That's a shame. That's a lot of kids, and they could have had all of their parents and family and extended family, and they could have all fit in there nicely, an air-conditioned situation on comfortable seats. But
you brought up a great question. If they don't host it there, then where are they going to go?
Well, they'll have to go to the U of M and rent a building. It ain't going to be any cheaper, I would have bet.
When did
You're
adults
have to find an auditorium?
Such, when did adults start giving these loudmouth little brats the benefit of the doubt? If I would have pulled this crap as a kid, I would have been shut up on the spot.
Amen.
Well, I mean, I can't even tell you the stories because they just equate into old man yelling, "Get off my lawn." But I look at stories like this and I think back to high school and I say, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?"
You'd get the back of the hand.
The brothers would have you locked in a locker.
Right.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Did you little punks get away with this BS? No wonder the world's falling apart.
You would have had your ear flicked.
I'm
gonna come over there and flick your
you
ear.
know what? No, you know what? It wouldn't ever even reach that point. The idea of saying to Hill High School at the time, well, hell, we had it in Aldrich Arena. Mm-hmm. We didn't even have it in a church. But what if when I was in high school, do you think a Cretan kid ever said, "I object to having the graduation in the cathedral"? Back in the 60s, they would have been laughed at.
Today,
I'm going to come over there and flick your ear,
Yeah.
you little brat.
What a bunch of plus this is a never
precious,
mind.
very precious.
I can't solve their problems.
You're a little rattled today.
If this goes through,
I got a lot on my mind.
If this kid is successful with this, he will be propped up and held in high esteem, just like Greta Thunberg.
Oh, God, yes. Eli Frost.
Well, that's why when Joe mentioned it was on the front cover of the Star Tribune, I said, I'm not shocked. Are you guys?
I can't find any quotes in the piece from his parents. What? Am I just not reading it thoroughly?
No, they're not mentioned.
Yeah.
And perhaps they're proud of little Eli.
Well, that's, yeah.
If you want to have some laughs, though, boys, go on the old comment section on the online article.
I didn't bother to do that. Are they pro Eli?
It's a mixed bag, but
in this state, this is the state for him to pull this.
yes.
This is the state for him to pull this.
Well, because we're one Minnesota.
Well, it just, we pretty much have lost any character. We've just come through the worst legislative session in history. The progressives are winning. The towns are falling apart. This is absolutely the best place in the country for a kid to pull this stunt.
Everything's going to hell. I mean, ticket prices are through the roof.
Boy.
Aren't they? Aren't they?
Are they ever? Wow. This is just, speaking of the failed academy, I have before me the University of Nebraska calendar.
Oh.
It's a calendar that's issued by the school's LGBTQA plus -3 14B 7 8 9 10 11 MPQT VSB community.
That's a big group. It's got to be 3/4 of the Earth, planet Earth, doesn't it?
It's that all those things I just said. It's their awareness months and days that serve the purpose of creating visibility of and raising support for marginalized populations within the community. You know what? You doth protest too much, LGBTQA plus. You are desperate to be marginalized. You never let that rest. You apparently have no desire to be normalized. All you do is bitch and moan about how marginalized you are when all you want to be is considered normal. You're full of S.
Yeah.
You don't want to be normalized. You love this special kid glove treatment. Go bleep yourself. You're not marginalized.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the University of Nebraska, aren't you?
Right. Let's go.
Pursuing a degree. It'll be meaningless. It's a failed academy, but you're there.
Getting a BA, and how do I feel?
This is utter nonsense that the majority culture is being sold the idea that we are so put upon and so marginalized. No, you're not.
Nope.
When do you suppose that their satisfaction will be met?
That's a great question.
Their demands have been fulfilled, and they are now happy.
Never.
It's like education in Minnesota. It'll never be fully funded because you just keep changing the bar.
Right.
Get out to EcoFund. Forget this bike rebate BS. It doesn't start till 2024, and when it does, the people on the computer will erase the $2 million fund in about 5 minutes. I'm serious. That won't exist. It was put together by Democrats. It makes no sense. Right now at EcoFund in Forest Lake and Burnsville, save hundreds of dollars on their biggest e-bike sale ever. Save 10% or more on all e-bikes in the store, plus 50% off the dealer freight. This is a limited time, but you can get 10% off all e-bikes. It's the perfect chance to secure an eco-friendly transportation for the sunny season. Don't wait. Come down to EcoFund Motorsports today. Ride smart, ride green, save big this summer on electric bikes. They got a great parking lot for test driving.
Good.
Test drive 10 of them.
I
You
did.
make sure you get the right one.
I test drove mine at Grunhofer's, and it was fabulous.
You test drove a bike at Grunhofer's?
remember he took it
We had the
around
big shindig up there, and Tim brought over a couple of bikes.
They're all there. There's 400 e-bikes in stock, all brands, including Bintelli. They're on sale. This is the greatest sale EcoFun has ever had, not to mention the motorcycles, the golf carts, the Vanderhall Roadsters, the little gas scooters that turn urban errands into adventures. It's the place to be right now. The Summer Blitz sale at EcoFun is on in Forest Lake on Highway 97, just west of 35, and in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42, EcoFunMotorsports.com.
You know, the investment game can be awfully tricky, especially in these volatile times, and that's why you need the best, and also somebody that you can trust, and that's why I rely on Josh Arnold. We know him as Mr. Money Talk around these parts, and he's here for you. So give him a call today for that free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation by dialing 952-925-5608. 952-925-5608. Josh has been at this a long time with a track record of success, and he's here to help you. So give him a call today. No obligation. That's right. No obligation. It's absolutely free. 952-925-5608. And tell him you heard about him here on the Garage Logic podcast.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.
Okay, here we go. Ken.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
June is Taylor Swift month at Liberty Safe and Maple Grove Lock and Safe. No, it's safety month actually, and all I know that means is it's big savings. That's what it means, big sales. Go to maplegrovelockandsafe.com, then link up to the Liberty website, and you're going to discover that all online orders with Liberty Safe, 10% off. That's everything. Meanwhile, though, back at the store, Maple Grove Lock and Safe, 6901 East Fish Lake Road, we have progressive savings all month long. The more you spend, the more you save in the form of instant and mail-in rebates. It starts here. You spend $1,099, you save $100, and then the savings go all the way up to you spend $8,500 or more, and you save $700. Liberty Safe, of course, made here in the United States by Americans using materials procured in the United States, lifetime transferable warranties. It's a pretty nice deal from Liberty Safe and Maple Grove Lock and Safe. Just be sure to ask Rich when you get here. He's the owner. Ask him about delivery and setup when you pick up your Liberty Safe from Maple Grove Lock and Safe.
Joe, the town council is joining the four of us and having some fun at your expense. Mm-hmm. Mark writes in, "Dear God, this is worth the year's town council payment. I nearly died when I heard that he needed 9.
You took the whole crew to Mexico a few years ago. It had to be cheaper than what you're going to spend on this.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
because he used Escape With Us Vacations to book that trip.
Oh, nice, Matthew.
Yes,
nice.
thank you.
I did the sense winds on the fires in Canada. They are dreadful. They are creating a very dangerous air quality problem on the East Coast. Ball games have had to be canceled. People are recommended to stay indoors. I think that's wise counsel.
Okay.
It looks terrible.
Yes, it really does.
It's horrible. And, of course, it's presented with hysteria.
Mm-hmm.
From Chuck Schumer to the newscasters to whoever is advancing the agenda, that this, of course, is climate change, which does not take into account arson probability in some cases. It does not take into account poor forest management. It does not take into account
lightning. And
it does not take into account context.
Yes.
And we're never going to get context anymore from the news gathering institutions. You get it here, because I'll always give you the sense wins. Do you want 4,900,000 acres burned in the Miramichi fire? That was 1825.
Okay.
All right.
So we had fires in the past.
That was northern New Brunswick. 300 deaths. That was 1825. You want the Great Fire of 1846, St. John's, Newfoundland? That was... you got the Great Fire of 1852 in Montreal. Nearly half of the city's housing was destroyed. You got the Saguenay Fire in 1870. That was in Quebec. Then you get down here to, what's this one? The Matheson Fire in 1916, 490,000 acres. The Great Fire of 1919, Saskatchewan and eastern Alberta, 4,900,000 acres. The Matheson Fire, which preceded it in 1916, was the worst fire on record in Ontario's history. It destroyed 49 townships, including the villages of Keslow, Valgagne, and Iroquois Falls. The fire of 1919 was the first major fire at the wildland-urban interface of the prairie provinces. You've got the Great Fire of 1922, the Mississauga Fire of 1948, 690,000 acres in Ontario. That was fire destroyed land over a 2-month period. Now we're all the way up to 1950. The Chinchaga Fire, northern British Columbia and Alberta, 3,500,000 to 4,200,000 acres.
Wow.
The largest recorded single fire in North American history.
Wow. What year was that?
1950 something.
50. Wow.
The Chinchaga Fire. Then you have an unnamed fire in 1989 in Manitoba. Drought conditions in Manitoba caused over 1,200 fires to spring up throughout the province. 6,200,000 acres.
Wow.
In 1989. And then you get the 90s. Then you get, we're into the 2000s. There's been a history of these fires. There always has been. There always will be. Yep. But in today's poorly served world by news gathering institutions, you will get no context. And admittedly, the video footage that can be captured in New York, for example, is undeniably
expensive. Expensive.
Is undeniably tempting to show on television. You know, it looks like Beijing.
It is good.
I mean,
it's good footage.
It's great footage, and it's. You know, here's 2014, the Northwest Territories. That's 10 years ago. 8,400,000 acres. So there's nothing new about these. They're horrible.
Right.
And the other thing that's changed.
Happen.
Well, the other thing that's changed in the matter of context is that, you know, compared to 1916, there's a lot more people in harm's way. True. There's a lot more people breathing. They have the cigarette meters going now. Oh, breathing the air in New York is like breathing.
Like being in New Delhi or
half
something
pack
like that.
of cigarettes every 10 minutes or something.
Don't get me started. Right. I'll end up moving there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
where's Kenny going on a roadie?
Perry Sound. When was that? 2018. Perry Sound. It was called the Perry Sound Forest Fire. What famous National Hockey League player is from Perry Sound?
Perry Sound.
Bobby Orr.
Oh, I was going to say Martin
taken out of
Brodeur.
his family's home at the age of about 15. I'll be damned. Perry Sound, just 5 years ago, had that was only 28,000 acres though.
Okay, only 28.
That's about about 3 Gull Lakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has anybody nailed down the cause, what started it? And was it, in fact, I can't even say it with a straight face, a flame-throwing helicopter?
I hope not. Arson is suspected in some cases. Dry conditions, obviously, but the dry conditions are always exacerbated by poor forest management. And forests, as we've discovered in California, for example, they're just poorly taken care of.
Right.
And then when they burn, everyone's shocked. No, that's what forest fires do. They burn forests.
And they churn over new soil that's very fertile.
They do?
Yeah, I think so.
So you can do that. You know, I'll always be your sense when guy, but you can always do it yourself as well. It's important to try and remember the context for these horrific events.
Right.
But we're always sold now with the worst possible outlook on them at all, and no context is offered whatsoever. Absolutely none.
Poor forest management, when you think about it, there's been poor forest management since the beginning of time, right? I mean,
well, I'm sure we'd be told that Native Americans had this figured out. I don't think they did. They let it burn in certain ways.
Yeah, did they do it on purpose, or did they just let it happen?
I don't think they would have had much control over a lightning strike.
Right.
I think Hans has got you taken care of, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Hans says, how about Joe just offers everyone $300 to not go to the concert?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
It might come to that. Might come to that. That'd be a hell of a lot cheaper.
Calculator.
9 times 3 is $2,700.
9. That's $2,700.
It's the price of one ticket.
I wouldn't have to sell a car. Because the way it's going,
Hans, you might have just become Joe's new favorite listener.
Mama says everything must go. Oh, man. You mentioned Grunhoffers before. I do recall now that Tim from EcoFund brought down an electric bike, and you rode it around the parking lot.
I loved it.
While you were stuffing your face with brats from Grunhofer's. And
I went home with an armful of rookie burgers.
well, it's Grunhofer's in Hugo. It's on Highway 61, just north of Hugo. It's just the best meat emporium for miles around, if not states around, if not nations around. Over 140 flavors of brats, town ball meatloaf, rookie burgers, all Grundhofer's beef is Minnesota grown. It's beef from Minnesota farmers. What was that amazing statistic on brat casings they used over Memorial Day weekend?
Oh, that was on their Instagram.
9,000 miles of brat casings.
I'll pull it up
A
on
million
Insta.
miles of brat casings, or was it 9 miles of brat casings? It was something to that effect. They have a great Instagram account, by the way. They're great people. You can get help from anybody behind the counter if you have cooking questions or you're seeking cooking tips. And this is all meat: ham, chicken, fish, pork shoulders, chops, steaks, you name it. This is the place. Grunhofer's Old Fashioned Meats in Hugo. It's on Highway 61, just north of Hugo.
I got it.
Yep.
Fun fact, we used 19.04 miles of brat casing for Memorial Day week.
That's a lot of brats.
Yeah.
And they're all wonderful, and they're now all consumed.
Egg roll brats.
Oh.
Egg roll brats.
I would try one.
Yes.
And they're also in Forest Lake on Highway 97, just east of Interstate 35. Grunhofer's Old Fashioned Meats.
Mr. Mike Schoonover on the horn with us. He's Mr. Fender Bender Mender to you and me. Positive Thursday, that's today, brought to us by SchoonoverBodyWorks.com. Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care, located right there in Shoreview, 1060 County Road E. And that construction is almost over, Mike. I bet you're getting excited, huh?
I am, Kenny, and we are. We're at each other's throats here. We're still taking care of our customers, but we are ready to kill each other because can't wait till it's all done. But or at least I should say the employees are ready to kill me because I'm just not a very happy I'm a very stressed out business owner right now.
Well, I don't blame you.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's coming along great.
And with all this extra space, you're going to need a few new employees, I'm guessing. Who are you looking for? What do you need?
You know, I'm looking for a glass installer, ADAS technicians, electronic technicians, diagnostic technicians, service techs, service advisors, a collision repair estimator, and then some support staff, people that can help out with some light accounting and data entry and customer service stuff. So we're going to open the floodgates with employees here in the next couple of weeks.
In your history, who's the better hire? Somebody fresh out of Dunwoody or somebody that's been doing it for 25 years? In your history, who do you like better?
Well, I mean, there's pros and cons to both. The fresh out of Dunwoody is they're like a sponge. They take in all the information, and you can feed them with good information. They haven't learned any bad habits. You can teach them good work ethics. You can teach them the basics of how to work. The ones that have been at it for a while, they may have some bad habits, but they might know what they're doing. So it just depends on the individual. So right now we really do try to just focus on the individual. I mean, just because somebody has work experience or they've been in the career or been in the job for a while doesn't make them, a candidate automatically. We look at the person, make sure that they're going to fit in with the team.
So if the GLers, you heard them, if you know somebody or if you are that somebody, make sure you get a hold of Schoonover Body Works. As for right now, Mike, I'm not seeing a lot of crashes every day. The crashing is kind of slowing down quite a bit. Are you keeping busy?
We are, Kenny. It's remember last year this time we were up to our eyeballs in hail.
Yeah,
we really haven't seen much hail, but what's crazy is the deer hits are just absolutely crazy. We've had 5 tow-ins here in the last 3 days that have all been a result of deer.
Wow!
And,
in the spring,
and so it's just crazy. I don't know if it's I don't know what's going on out there with Mother Nature, but she these deer, you gotta GLers should remember that when you run into a deer, that goes under your comprehensive. So that's that should be little or no deductible and a non-drivable offense.
Oh.
What you don't want to do is avoid the deer and run into another car or run into an object, because now that comprehensive claim turns into a collision claim, which is a chargeable offense, and you're going to have to pay your deductible. So I'm sorry, but if Bambi's in front of you, you got to hit Bambi.
I've always said that. Roll right through it. I think MnDOT's phrase was don't veer for deer. You just have to roll right over it. Nobody wants to hear that. And sometimes it's actually hard to do because the natural reaction is to swerve. But you're absolutely right, Mike. Yep,
absolutely. So yeah, but work is good and everything's going well, Kenny. So we're looking forward to a busy summer.
Great. Well, if you've recently run into Bambi's mom, Jesus, that was not right. That was wrong. Let me rephrase that. If you need auto body repair or anything actually related to your automobile, and it doesn't matter what, tires, oil change, you need some engine work done, front end work, get a hold of Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care. They are GL's official body shop, always rated as one of the top shops in the metro. SchoonoverBodyWorks.com.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Souchere.
So I mentioned a new partner here to the Garage Logic podcast, and I am talking about the North American Banking Company. They have 6 Twin Cities locations: Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and their brand new location over in Maple Grove. They offer the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but with the unparalleled service of a community bank. Maybe you're in the market for a small loan to buy concert tickets. They're going to take care of you at North American Banking Company. They're locally owned and operated, which means, Joe, loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They're not shipped out of state, and this helps business owners solve problems and expand their business with confidence. I've met Michael. He's the chief over there at North American Banking Company. They're fantastic. They're really good people. And here's the thing. Not a lot has changed. A lot has changed, since 1998. The commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities has not. That's the thing with North American Banking Company. So get on in there, say hi to the crew, and please tell them at North American Banking Company you heard about them right here on the Garage Logic podcast.
Here's John Heidt.
Thank you, Joe. You guys didn't like my chair?
You're sitting in a Green Bay Packers chair. It looks,
I'm embarrassed.
Very nice. Very nice.
What is that? John, this is embarrassing.
A little Packer helmet.
You're embarrassing us.
Wow. I suppose he has a cheese head, too.
I think I know where you put that.
I do have a cheese head.
Oh, my gosh.
Where do you put that, Chris?
How about doing the news?
You know what? Before I do that, since Taylor Swift has been an ongoing topic this show here, and we were wondering how popular she actually was. I'd say she's much more popular than any other female singer ever. She's had 24 number 1 hits. She's had the Album of the Year 3 times at the Grammys, which ties her for the most ever. Most Song of the Year nominations at the Grammys, 6, which is most ever by a female, and ties McCartney and Lionel Richie. 825 million sales from 2010 to... Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's money. She made 825 million from 2010 to 2019. She holds every streaming record there is, basically. And at one point last year, she had the top 10 on the Billboard Top 10. That is the top 10 songs. So top 10. She had all top 10.
Boy, she's
songs.
Quite the crooner, huh?
If you want to send them to Ford Field in Detroit tomorrow night, you can get in it for $800.
Well, it's a deal. Yeah.
Are you amusing yourself, Reavers, just going around the country looking at Taylor Swift prices?
Pretty much. Chris is having fun. In the news, the father of Madeline Kingsbury's children has been arrested on suspicion of second-degree murder after a body was found Wednesday afternoon in Fillmore County. 29-year-old Adam Taylor Fravel was taken into custody at 7:15 Wednesday evening for suspicion of second-degree murder. No formal charges yet. According to the Winona Police Department, the body was found in some brush off of Highway 43 north of Mabel, Minnesota, using information generated during the investigation. Kingsbury's sister, Megan Kingsbury, posted a video to social media regarding the development, saying, "The whirlwind is just starting all over again. This is definitely a silver lining. We're glad he's in custody and not walking around as a free man anymore." In April, Fravel released a statement through his attorney proclaiming his innocence. He said, "I did not have anything to do with Maddie's disappearance. I want the mother of my 5-year-old and 2-year-old to be found and brought home safely. I want that more than anything." Later on this afternoon, we are expecting a press conference. Authorities giving a press conference where they say they will give more details on the investigation and the possibility of charges that actually, as we record this, starts probably within the hour, it looks like.
Seems like it's always the boyfriend or husband, doesn't it?
I was wondering the same thing, Kenny. Why was he not initially?
I bet they were looking at him.
He was. Okay, I missed it. I'm sorry.
Interviewed many times.
Every move he made. Yeah.
Okay.
Emergency call centers locally and nationally are calling on the public to help with an issue they're facing. The problem? An overwhelming number of people unintentionally calling 911, and it's because of a Android device update, apparently. The Anoka County Sheriff's Office shared their concerns about it earlier this week, saying that a recent Android software update makes phones automatically call 911 if the power button is pressed 5 times in a row. Officials say the feature can be disabled by going to the phone settings, selecting the emergency SOS feature, and turning it off. Well, they didn't share an exact reason for all of this. They said Android devices are part of the problem and they're working toward a solution. The issue is proving especially difficult for centers, which right now are mostly understaffed.
The people that buy Android phones, are they the same people who's, when they were young, their parents, instead of buying them Nikes, bought them like Nipes? You know what I mean?
What's an Android
some weird off-brand
Not
that
an iPhone.
Always got them beat up at school, made fun of by their...
Or Zips. They got Zips instead of Nikes.
They had black hockey skates, but the toes were white.
Yes.
Yeah, it's those people.
What are those? Android and what?
iPhone.
What's the other
Just get
one?
an iPhone. What's wrong with you?
Just get
What's
a big
an
clown
iPhone?
button
There's a-
phone.
iPhone is Apple, and then everything else is Galaxy or.
No, but Android's a type. It's not a brand.
We are phones.
If I text you and it turns green, I turn beet red. If it's blue, I'm okay. If it's green,
what's that mean? Because I get green ones.
That
Green
means
ones
they
means
don't.
they don't have
They're
an
not an
iPhone.
Android.
Yeah.
They're an Android. They're not an iPhone.
That means their parents embarrassed them when they were children.
Their parents didn't let them go to Taylor Swift concerts.
The other kids beat them up.
They had to
fun
bring
of
their
them.
lunch in a brown paper bag.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that's the way I did it.
Yeah, well, you're
Yeah,
probably,
well,
you're probably
and look
one
at
of
how
them.
you turned out.
Okay, so Samsung, Sony, Nokia, Motorola, anything that uses Google's operating system is an Android. That's
Good.
what I
That's
see.
good news.
So iPhone is the only one that's not.
Yeah.
not an Android.
Be a cool kid. Just get an iPhone.
You know,
I don't know about you guys sometimes, really.
I was
most-
enjoying the discussion that you guys were having about the phones.
John, you got one
What
of
do you
those
have?
big, giant Androids?
No, I have an
It's about the
iPhone,
size
yeah.
of a big screen
But
TV.
I know plenty of people that have Androids and they don't have any.
Well,
problems.
let's go to the phone lines.
Yeah, as long as I get time in the damn.
yeah. Okay.
Most of the attention on the transportation policy and finance bill passed by the legislature last month focused on higher gas taxes, a delivery tax, and a new metro area sales tax. What we may have missed, a small 20-line section of the bill that could one day lead to authorization of speed cameras.
What's 9 times 5?
45.
45.
37.
Christ.
A result in you getting a speeding ticket
100.
issued
100.
remotely.
4,500.
Wait, you guys shut up. I want to hear this story because I hate speeding cams. Go ahead.
The bill calls for the Commissioner of Public Safety to convene a task force to assist in the development of a study of possibly legalizing cameras to detect speeders. The bill directs the task for a report that identifies a process and associated policies for issuance of a mailed citation to the owner or lessee of a motor vehicle that a speed safety camera system detects is operated in violation of the speed limit. In other words, you could get a speeding ticket. It could be mailed to you remotely without a sworn law enforcement officer ever seeing you driving above the speed limit.
On my little road trip, I encountered many signs that said your speed is being monitored by speed cameras in the construction zones where, they say the speed limit was 60, but everybody was doing 80. And then I have a question for Reavers. Reavers, you listening?
Yep.
I went through a toll area skirting Chicago.
Yep.
And I didn't pull over, throw money at a basket, get a ticket, do any of that, and just went through it. Are they going to send me a bill?
No, go
how's
online.
That work?
It's for iPass. You can do it online. In fact, I just did it 2 weeks ago. Just go online, enter your plate, and it'll give you a total. And do it that way. They don't charge you a fee.
No,
because I also got a bill in the mail from Florida where they did send me something. But yeah,
I got a number in mind that I'll pay, but beyond that, I won't.
Do they take a picture of you?
Yeah, they got your plate. Yes.
So, but just the plate, right? They can't see who was riding with me?
No, you're good there.
Do you have a life-size doll?
Go ahead, John.
It's something like that, Rook. Yeah. Prosecutors have filed multiple criminal charges against a woman who allegedly drove drunk in South St. Paul and caused a fatal crash earlier this week. 53-year-old Bobby Joe Braun is facing charges of criminal vehicular homicide, 2 counts of criminal vehicular operation for the crash that killed a man and hurt 2 others on Monday. The crash happened in a minivan, with a minivan and a Chevy truck. Happened on Concord Street South on Chestnut Street at around 3:20 in the afternoon. According to court documents, a responding officer found Braun sitting on the sidewalk next to one of the vehicles. When talking with her, the officer noted she had slurred speech, watery eyes, and dilated pupils. She also struggled to answer simple questions and admitted she'd been drinking at several bars and was drunk. She also allegedly told the officer that she was driving the van and hit the truck, and her ex-husband was in the front passenger seat of the van. After she failed field sobriety tests, the criminal complaint states her breath test showed a .201 blood alcohol concentration, more than twice the legal limit. She was then arrested. Her ex-husband, 61-year-old Paul Craven, who was in the front passenger seat of the van, was taken to a hospital but later died. 2 others, a 64-year-old backseat passenger of the van and 55-year-old driver of the truck, taken to a hospital for treatment of their injuries.
That's really bad news. But Such, so what I see you doing now is this is turning into a car negotiation thing that you would do at the dealership. You wrote down a number, and you're going to slide that paper across the desk over to the kids. I've got a number in mind, kids, and they're going to look at that and they're going to talk and maybe go talk to their manager, and then they're going to come back with another number and slide that across the table.
We're having some trouble with your paperwork, getting your paperwork approved. Here, try this one. Try this again.
Let me go back and talk to my manager. I'll see if we can work something out.
Everything works out.
We don't know.
It's a real first world problem to have, isn't it?
It's true.
Yeah,
this reminds me a lot of the story that day when you were going out for the walk and it ended up costing you, what was it, $1,000 or $10,000 or something like that? Due
We're
to
not
an
telling that
emergency.
story again. John, will you continue the news?
The neat thing will be when all
it's
the
time for a break here, Joe.
when all the politicians will be tweeting photos from the Taylor Swift concert. That's what's really going to get people going too.
We'll have more news as Joe wants. But first,
Minnesota Masonic Charities, a great outfit that is very charitable to not only garage logicians, but to anybody that needs help. I invite you to go to their website, mnmasoniccharities.org, to learn more, just to learn about them, some of the news and events that they're putting on, maybe learn about the scholarships, the historical buildings that they have in Bloomington. Also, there's a podcast. Yeah, I was just on the podcast the other night with John Sweitz and Kevin Gorg. Wonderful guys. We had a really nice chat, and we talked about Garage Logic. We talked a little bit about Second Stork, and we talked about Minnesota Masonic Charities. They want to get the word out to you. That's the reason they are on Garage Logic. And these guys, it's like these guys came out of the garage. They got the picnic table there. They have great ideas, and they act on it. They're helping people. You know, like the government likes to help people? Well, they really do at Minnesota Masonic Charities, and they don't need the government's help. Go online to mnmasoniccharities.org, or if you'd like to call them for whatever reason, 952-948-6200. And again, online at mnmasoniccharities.org.
K&L Surplus and Ammo offers one of the widest selection of firearms in the region. K&L carries 10 different brands of ammunition, including Aguila, Armscore, Federal, Remington, CCI, Magtech, Cellier & Beloy, Norma, PPU, and Hornady. K&L also carries many different brands of firearms like Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Canik, Glock, Springfield Armory, Rock Island, Rate, SKB Shotguns, Howa, Tika, Henry, and CZ. KLGunstore.com.
He's our local version of Larry David. Here's Joe Souchere.
Gooey smashed bugs. They say they make good protein, but boy, they sure do make a mess out of the front of your vehicles. Thankfully, Seafoam, they've got us covered with their amazing Bugs Be Gone solution in these easy squirt bottles. Easily solves the frustration of scrubbing those bugs off your windshield and front bumper. Spray it on, breaks up the sticky bond. Couple minutes later, you wash it away. Bugs gone. Bugs Be Gone. Safe for all finishes. It's not going to leave a film. It's not going to harm your paint. It's non-toxic. It's water-based. And, just a clear windshield, a clear bumper, the front end with nary a bug in sight. You can use it on actually any stubborn organic crud. Try it on your camper. Try it on your motorcycle, your boat surface, whatever. Anything organic, just spray it on, wash it off, and the bugs be gone. Just another wonderful product from our fine folks at Seafoam.
In other news, as Joe said, wildfires continue in large tracts of the forest in Canada. Not a lot of sign that the weather will help firefighters fight these fights. They've sent smoke 1,000 miles southward, prompted air hazard alerts in cities on both sides of the U.S. border. Luckily, we're missing most of the problems with air here in Minnesota, but the East Coast, New York, came to a near standstill on Wednesday in the face of what local officials called an unprecedented event, as hazy skies turned an eerie orange. Events were canceled or postponed, including New York Yankees game with the Chicago White Sox.
I can't help but think about the people that are forced to work outside. Were they sent home? The construction workers, road crews,
I think it was so bad in
roofers?
New York that they did make accommodations for
Well,
that.
this is going to be all summer. They're not going to get anything done if they can't go outside.
Well, I don't think it'll be all summer. You can get some
clear
rain.
it up eventually.
You can do it. Yeah.
Some good weather.
There, yeah.
Get some wind.
You can get some rain.
Your gal Taylor Swift is playing 5 shows in Inglewood at SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
You can't even get in for less than $1,500.
Really?
5 shows.
I don't live in Los Angeles.
But you could send the kids there.
I don't live in Los Angeles, and we're done with your little sophomoric attack on me.
The Supreme Court today issuing a surprising 5-4.
I don't think we are, actually, but
You can
swing
think
and a
that.
miss there,
You can think
Suchi boy.
this,
Yeah, we still got a good, 20 minutes. So,
How you doing, sap?
The Supreme Court today issuing a surprising 5-4 ruling in favor of black voters in a congressional redistricting case ordering the creation of a second district with a large black population. Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Brett Kavanaugh joining the court's liberals in affirming a lower court ruling that found a likely violation of the Voting Rights Act in an Alabama congressional map with 1 majority black seat out of 7 congressional districts in a state where more than 1 in 4 residents is black. The case had been closely watched for its potential to weaken the landmark voting rights law. The court had allowed the challenged map to be used for the 2022 elections, and at arguments in October, the justices appeared to be willing to make it harder to use the voting rights law to challenge redistricting plans. But the Chief Justice himself suggested last year he was open to changes, and today, Roberts wrote that the court was declining to recast their Section 2 case law as Alabama wants. Roberts was part of a conservative high court majority in earlier cases that made it harder for racial minorities to use the Voting Rights Act of 1965 in ideologically divided rulings in 2013 and 2021. Weird story out of Mexico. As many as 8 young workers confirmed dead Tuesday after they apparently tried to quit jobs at a call center that was run by a violent drug cartel that targeted Americans in a real estate scam. U.S. and Mexican officials confirmed the brutal story that unfolded late last month when relatives of the youths reported them missing after they didn't come home from work in an office near Guadalajara. Suspicions rose last week when heaps of hacked up body parts were found in plastic bags. Forensic examiners in the western state of Jalisco said in a statement that tests had confirmed the bodies belonged to the missing call center workers. Total of 6 men and 2 women reported missing between May 20th and 22nd. Officials confirming the cartel now operates call centers that scam money from Americans and Canadians through fake offers to buy their timeshares.
All you need to do is a little research. I can get you tickets. They are and this is legit. What is this? $425 each, 9 tickets. Is this it?
Oh, keep his mic on.
Pressure's on.
I think we need to
Pressure's on.
Yeah,
Keep his mic on.
Yeah,
Hope he doesn't. Oh, he's leaving.
He's going to stand up. He's taking the call.
Hello.
Hold on. Now, when he does that, I have to play this.
Hello?
Hi.
Here's the deal, guys.
Yeah, let us in.
This is to the Taylor Swift concert, November 9th. It's a Thursday night. It's an El Monumental Stadium in Buenos Aires. But you can get them for $4.25. 9 tickets,
It might be
unrestricted to you.
cheaper to send him to freaking Brazil.
I'll drop that. I'll drop that bomb when he sits back down.
John, wouldn't it be fun to know how much this tour is going to earn her and how much is going to go into her pocket and the pockets of the production crew and everybody else?
When I brought up the Inglewood thing, I thought she's doing 5 shows at SoFi.
But, I mean, there's a lot of people to pay.
So okay, but
Yeah,
here's
good
my
point.
question:
Good point.
How does this work? Does she have is there a person that books this, or is this her company that does it? I mean, does she have to?
Is this Live Nation? It's not like Live Nation,
right? That's
or
what I'm
something
wondering.
Like that, is it?
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, like Johnny said, someone of her magnitude has her own
corporation, and they book.
Like our buddy Gene, for instance, John. Yeah. Do you suppose he bid on her? I don't see.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No idea. I read. Now we're still doing the show, so hi, folks. I read something the other day about the Springsteen tour because I always wonder how much musicians make.
Right.
Apparently, now this came from a source who I know well, who would know how this works. Said the band. I'm always curious how much the band makes. The Springsteen Corporation pays the band. There's every concert they all get. Bruce and the band they split $2.8 million
each show.
Each show. So I figured that out for a 50-city tour, which they're doing more, I think, this time around. But a 50-city tour, Nils Lofgren for playing guitar would make $12.2 million.
Jesus!
And all the musicians in the band would.
Wasn't there
amazing?
Wasn't there a time not that long ago where the hired guns they made maybe $100, $200 a night, right?
Yeah. Well, not that with that kind of band though. If you want to keep it together, I mean that's the point of all the big acts. I think now, the Neil Youngs, the Spring.
Right here, I found it.
They got a good.
But Springsteen,
they want to keep it rolling.
John, you're digitizing. We can't understand you very well.
Springsteen is literally the boss, no pun intended, and the band members work for him. So I saw him in the Springsteen documentary, I think it was.
But I'm guessing he pays them pretty well.
I'm sure he does.
Oh.
Yeah, something's wrong with our connection to you, John.
Johnny Cake Ridge Road.
You guys are.
You sound like Royce.
I'm gonna pull Johnny down for just a
second. I looked it up on the internet. The promoter for Taylor Swift, AEG. I don't know who that is.
Oh
AEG.
yeah, okay. It's not. I can't remember how big they are, but they're a huge operation.
Who is AEG?
You know what we're gonna do?
The world's leading sports and live entertainment company. They continually turn it up a notch with venues, sports franchises, music festivals, entertainment districts, ticketing platforms, global sponsorships, and innovative experiences that keep the fans coming back for year after year. So, can John hear us? And John, can you hear us yet? No, he can't. I'd like to know.
Convenient time for his microphone to go out.
Yeah, because this is the one time I really want to talk to him. I would like to know who set the price, and did she agree on that, or did she have any say in the matter at all?
Not a Garage Logic Town Council member? Here's what you're missing.
Pay attention to the bleeping show.
Joe, I'm looking at my computer to set up the broadcast.
Right, you're looking at Sarah's tweets.
Because it was funny.
What the hell?
Who wrote Sarah Smile?
That would be Hall and Oates.
Which one, though?
Did they write a lot of their stuff?
Yeah.
Who wrote it, though?
Probably Hall.
More of an Oates guy.
What about, do you rate adult education high up there in the Hall?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not a bad song. I like it. The song was written by Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Yeah, it was about Hall's girlfriend.
Sarah Sarah Smile?
That was her last name was Smile.
Wow, that's a weird.
I don't think it was.
It's so weird that
you're
would
lying.
be her last name, and then they made a song.
Yeah, Sarah Smile.
What a coincidence.
123 Main Street.
Yeah.
Joe, you're kind of crabby for a Friday before a holiday. Come on.
Not crabby.
Come on. I'm not crabby. Don't tell me I'm crabby.
Don't tell me I'm crabby.
Go behind the scenes of Garage Logic with unfiltered audio and video access, invites to exclusive events, an emailed newsletter from the mayor himself, and more by signing up at garagelogic.com.
Here we go.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
This technical gaffe in the GL podcast is brought to you by our friends at Hofferman Water. The best drinking system known to man is from Connecticut and Hofferman Water. And I know that because I had it installed in my home just a few months ago, and it's made an amazing difference in the quality of my drinking water for me and my family. So here's the deal. Get in touch with them today because this is their busiest time of the year. 952-894-4040. That's their phone number. You can also go on their website and see everything from all of their water softeners, the selection of drinking water systems, or odor filtration systems. Everything's on their website, HoffermanWater.com. I've been a customer for years, and you will be happy if you decide to become a customer of Hofferman and Connecticut, because Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Let them know. You heard about them here on the GL podcast. Joe, in your...
So what happened?
We lost the connection with Johnny when you were on the phone with your guy.
All right.
So the newscast did come to a bit of a screeching halt.
So what was the last thing that GLers heard before the...
I believe it was when we were in the discussion of ticket prices and how the money is distributed at like a Springsteen show and things like that. Then you had said, I really wish John was still with us because this is something I wanted to talk to him about. And that's how the conversation ended.
I've invited my guy on the air. He says he's been doing this. He won't do it today. He's been doing this since he was 18 years old, and the Taylor Swift concert is the most insane thing he's ever dealt with.
And he's a secondary market, right?
Yeah, he's a ticket king guy, and I would like him to come on and talk about this business, what has happened to it, and where it's going.
Okay, because this is a question I have. When the prices are put out, Stones, Taylor Swift, whoever, main floor, row one.
Look at John's back.
Oh, nice.
Got a different angle.
Yeah.
Main floor, row one is set at $500.
That's why I want him on. I want to know how this works.
We did learn in your absence that Taylor Swift, her main promoter is AEG, and they do all sorts of sports and live entertainment promotions.
The cynic in me thinks that this is all being done by design with concerts of this size in the secondary market, and how they basically all of the tickets were gone instantly. You know.
Well, I know is
who makes the money? Does Taylor Swift?
Yeah, we discussed that. How's this money divided up? What's Taylor take home? What's her band take home? You know, and the production companies, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, there's office buildings full of guys cracking numbers that do that. I mean, this is what they do, and they figure it out. And I have no idea how this works, and I will never, ever, ever, ever again get involved in something like this. It's not worth the hassle.
Can you talk to us now, John?
He's trying, but I'm texting with him right now. And
he probably turned his mic off.
I think it's that Packer chair.
It's got to be. Throw that if he can hear us. So throw that piece of crap out in the front yard. Get a real chair.
He can't hear.
He can't hear us.
Joe, and I believe I'm in need of a dual ruling. This past weekend, we noticed something floating into our beach area and came to find out it was two pieces of wood, each 2.5 by 5.5 by 36 inches or more in length, both rough cut. And he sent a picture. Not knowing where they had come from, I placed them on the dock and beach area for the weekend. No one has come by to claim them. Having surpassed 48 hours and not knowing where they come from, I'm assuming they are now part of my wood garage collection. What say you, Mr. Mayor? Well, of course they are, and you didn't need to use the 48-hour rule.
No.
You didn't buy these. This
is trash and debris.
This is stuff that you have won by fate. And they do look like great pieces of garage wood. Mm-hmm. So they're yours with no ruling to figure out. There's no ruling to worry about. Which reminds me, driving back from Chicago this past weekend, I saw what had to be the world's best piece of garage wood, but it would have been too dangerous to stop. It was one of those large blocks. I can't even begin to estimate it, but one of those large blocks that would have fallen off a flatbed.
Sure.
That would have been blocking a bulldozer or something.
Right.
It would have been the holy grail of garage wood. It was such a beautiful piece, and it was huge. Not so big.
And you left it there to die.
It would have fit in the back of the car. I mean, it wasn't that big.
What do you mean it wasn't safe
It was
to
just
stop?
a stocky block of wood that you see on the backs of flatbeds.
Okay. To
And
stop
did I want that piece of wood? But it would have been too harrowing to, 94 is a racetrack between here and Chicago.
It's like 85, 90
so
miles an
I
hour.
didn't. My cooler head prevailed, and I didn't stop. But what a piece of wood! Oh,
I want to say something about wood.
Okay.
My neighbors across the street had remember when we had the guy that carved wood out at the state fair?
Sure.
Remember he made an eagle or something like that?
Okay.
Years ago?
Yeah.
Which was a bad idea to have a live saw while we were doing the show. Chainsaw.
Oh, you're
recording
talking the chainsaw carving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what my neighbors across the street had somebody come out and do that to their tree.
Right.
Oh, their stump. Cool.
So there were slices of wood that I wanted to go and grab them for throwing them in the fire, but they're art pieces. There were slivers of wood that are multicolored and are so darn cool, it's going to be a shame to burn them.
Well, then don't burn them.
Do you think I could get away with doing that with a tree that fell down? Have the stump turned into the giant middle finger?
Why not?
Yes, you could. I mean, it would be ding ding if you did it, but there's guys out there that can do that.
Okay, I got a tree question.
Here we go.
That last snow event we had probably was in March, or was it in April?
No, it was April.
Heavy, wet snow.
That was
Took one of my limbs of a birch tree from the ground to the top and bent it almost at a 90-degree angle.
Cool.
She's now flowering. The leaves are coming out. It's growing. It's
They're
not
tough.
dead, but it has never come back to position.
It's so funny you would say that. There's a poplar tree, a giant old mature one, that fell over, and it sprouted leaves this spring.
Well, this thing won't pop back. I got two options.
Can you push it back physically?
No. Either try to winch it back and tie it, or lose it. Chop it off.
I would tie it up. I would try to get it.
You're never going to get it back.
I don't think it'll come back.
No.
If that didn't spring back,
Cut that sumbitch down.
it's a birch, too. It's a beauty.
Oh, that's good.
Well, as long as we're confessing.
Yeah, more tree stories.
I gotta quit.
Hey, don't do it yourself, though.
I'm not going to.
Yeah,
I can't get high enough to do
hire
it.
somebody, yeah.
I got to quit falling for these products you see on Twitter.
You do this all the time.
I bought this bird feeder that has a circular device on the bottom where the squirrels grab onto it and then they go flinging off.
I want that.
No, you don't. It's it's the cheapest, most pathetic piece of crap I've ever purchased.
I envision myself sitting in
That's what I thought.
dining room, watch just hours and hours of viewing pleasure.
I got it right in front of my desk, thinking this is going to be fun.
This is going to be great.
Well, there's two problems. One, it's been up a week. Not a bird nor a squirrel has ever approached it. Full of food.
They know.
Nothing's ever happened.
This is like the apple tree in the Garden of Eden. Nobody's going near that thing.
And two, I guarantee you, the first squirrel that tries to get to the food and then gets trapped in the spin around will wreck the whole thing. It'll just
implode.
disintegrate.
Okay.
That is so disappointing.
You know that the squirrels are talking to the birds. Hey, Dingbat over here bought the cheap model off of Twitter.
Check this guy out.
Do you know
that was so deceptive?
the acquisition,
on
though, when I saw Joe looking at his phone and he went, huh. And I knew he saw the video.
Oh,
of
it's the greatest! It's the greatest video
I gotta buy
ever.
this.
Yeah,
and I did, and it's a piece of junk. Also, the ad is terribly deceptive because it makes it look like the bird feeder tower is about 2 feet tall.
Yeah, at least 18 inches.
It's a fat little cheap plastic thing that probably isn't even 10 inches tall. And the thing that spins around is so flimsily constructed that there's no way it could survive the weight of a squirrel.
Right. I know there's a GLer out there that can make a better bird feeder.
Of course they could.
Yeah, because I really want one of these things.
Yeah. Well, anyway, don't fall for that BS like I did. But that was a couple bucks compared to Taylor Swift.
The squirrels in my yard, I evidently have them trained because as soon as the door cracks a half an inch, they run like hell. Yeah. They know what's in World War III is about to break out.
It's about to go down.
Every time the door opens.
What's the date today? June
Today
8th?
is the 8th.
Well, only because they come to us all the way from Fernandina, the villages in Florida, from the traveling Lymans. On this day in 1880, the flower of the Washburn Crosby Company won a gold medal at an exhibition in Cincinnati, launching the gold medal brand. Washburn Crosby would eventually become General Mills. Huh. On this day in 1896,
June 8th,
the body of a petrified man was found in Bloomer in Marshall County. Believed by some to be a Voyager, it turned out to be made of plaster. Why did that make this day in history?
I don't know. I'm wondering that myself.
They might as well have said, on this day in 1896, a guy changed his shirt in Bloomer.
There we go.
Marshall County.
I know why that one made it.
On this day in 1910, cartoonist C.C. Beck, who drew Captain Marvel, was born in Zumbrota.
Huh, did not know
I
that.
did not know that. And on this day in 1927, artist Leroy Neiman was born in St. Paul. Huh. Leroy was famous for his sports scenes.
Yeah, Mark Spitz. I remember that one specifically.
He did a bunch of them. He did a lot of them.
Yeah.
Mark does what?
Mark Spitz. He was a famous Olympic swimmer.
Leroy was also the one that said, "Let's do this."
Leroy Jenkins!
Let's do this!
Let's do this, Jones.
All right, chumps, let's do this.
All right.
Sacrificial
I wish
lamb.
I could go back in time to watch your reaction to the first time I showed you
I'm going to watch
video.
that right after. When we're done here, I'm going to watch that.
That's so good.
Leroy
so good.
Jenkins.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess I'll have to get to that calendar tomorrow.
Yeah, you do that. Meanwhile, prior to tomorrow,
I'm going to.
Tonight, go to PodMN on your smartphone.
You do that.
And find a podcast that will suit you. Maybe it's
the ultimate dismissive.
Yeah. Go ahead, do that.
You go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead there, cowboy.
Then when you're done, you can sneak over to our YouTube page and subscribe to Garage Logic on YouTube. That's free at garagelogic.com. The town council costs you $10 a month or $100 a year. You get a Fratelloni's $10 gift certificate just for signing up for the council.
Hey, you can hear Such utter the F word repeatedly.
That's all he does.
Worth it.
He's swearing like a sailor. Like a sailor. During the town council break.
Trying not to.
You bleep town council. GarageLogic.com.
Cha.
Let's cha. Cha. Good one.
It is time once again that we pick up that phone and we make that call to our guy, Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold is with us once again here in Garage Logic, and now's the time for you to do the same. So do not delay. Pick up that phone and make that call by dialing 952-925-5608. That number once again is 952-925-5608. You call the number, you get Josh, and you will always get straight talk. You will never get sugar-coated advice, and Josh is with us once again. And boy, Josh, so much to discuss. So you would like to discuss the Magnificent Seven today.
And that's not the movie. Most people will remember the people like Yul Brynner and Eli Wallach, among others. It was a fun movie. And, of course, there was a remake not too long ago, but we're not talking about the movie, although we could talk about movies and the actors and writers strike going on in Hollywood that's having an adverse effect on some of the media companies. But the media companies have been running into big problems due to slowdowns in the number of streaming subscribers. So media stocks, I'm not going to say are uninvestable, but the returns on media stocks are going to be very, very difficult unless, of course, you're betting, and that's a tough bet to make, on mergers and acquisitions, such as the bets that people have been making on Paramount being bought by somebody else. And, of course, after Disney's contribution to the applications that are going to be available with Apple's new Virtual Pro, one analyst came out and said Apple should take a chunk of their cash reserves and go buy Disney. Quite frankly, I had talked about that when Steve Jobs was alive, given the amount of cash that Apple was sitting on, and I said that Apple could actually go out and buy both Disney and Nike, as both companies made contributions to Apple's products. Neither of those things, I do believe, is going to come to fruition. A lot of it has to do with competitive disadvantages that the regulators would see. But in terms of the Magnificent Seven, well, we mentioned one of them, that being favorite Apple. Another one is favorite Amazon. And Amazon has gotten a lot more credence recently as analysts are starting to look at Amazon's potential with artificial intelligence. And now, yesterday, with Amazon announcing a new tier for Prime subscribers, particularly if they want to have ads with their Prime viewership. Well, that could add even more Prime subscribers to Amazon's deck. I do see numerous places that Amazon could continue to generate money, in addition to, of course, their retail business, their Prime business, advertising, which is growing apace, Amazon Web Services, which could get a little boost with artificial intelligence. Amazon, by the way, has been very frustrating for me in terms of stock performance, but Amazon and Apple have been long-term holds of mine. As I'm sure you're aware, I continue to like them a lot with much higher price targets. The others, Magnificent Seven, Microsoft, which has recently pulled back, Meta, and Alphabet, also known as Google. Meta and Google, I'm a little lukewarm on, more because they generate most of their revenue with advertising, and I think they are losing some of their advertising share to favorite Amazon. Then we have NVIDIA, which is become a very expensive stock, not only a price-to-earnings basis, but on a price-to-sales basis, and that becomes a little more difficult to hold. But NVIDIA is the leader in artificial intelligence, particularly with manufacture of chips. And then lastly, the last of the Magnificent Seven is Tesla. Tesla is a stock that probably a lot of people love to hate, given its management, but Tesla is still, we'll say, the leader in the United States in electric vehicle production and battery production. But I still look at Tesla as a very expensive stock and not a holding that I want. I love cars, but not so much car companies. So for me, yes, take a look at the Magnificent Seven. They have been leading the indices up. Numerous analysts will say, well, they all have fairly high price-to-earnings multiples. Price-to-sales, well, that's a little different story, as I think Amazon probably on that basis offers the best opportunity. And, of course, I can't say enough about Apple. Meantime, do expect some volatility in the next coming weeks with the Fed on tap next week, and we'll have pretty much an end to earnings season and worries about the economy coming up and what the Fed is going to do with interest rates and offering more treasuries onto the market. Keep some cash and be prepared.
Very good advice, Mr. Money Talk. You heard him, GLers. Now's the time for you to pick up the phone and make that call for that free 48-minute financial consultation by dialing 952-9200. 888-925-5608, where you're always going to get straight talk and never, ever sugar-coated advice. Josh, as always, thank you so much for the time and the chat. Have a great rest of your day, a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
You too, Chris. Talk to you soon.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.